And then the lights come on and you go, what the actual is going on around me? Hello, you little tinkers. How are you doing? Are you tinkering about with stuff? Today I'm talking about how the energies are right now. And also I'm going to talk about the Antichrist. Wow. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So the emissaries were telling me that the energies are still running really high. And they said the energies in this, what I feel as well, are like wild at the moment, really wild. And they said that what's happening is that the scales are falling away from people's eyes. A long time ago, they described this period of time that we're in as the revelation, where everything is being revealed. And what they described was the situation of like us having been in a dark room forever, just in a dark room, unable to see what was going on around us. Bad has always existed, evil has always been done, but we just didn't see it because the lights were off. And then in the Great Awakening, the dimmer gets turned up, and suddenly we see what's always been before our very eyes, and we are shocked. And I'm using the word shocked, and that's very light. We are dumbfounded. We are without words. And not only that, but we are very disappointed that we didn't see it before. Lots of people, how could I not have seen this before? In fact, people then start changing history, their own history, and going, I've always seen it. Well, we haven't. We haven't because we were in the dark. There was a time where I thought everything was nice. That was a while ago. I was so happy. I was blissful. Everything was nice. And then the lights come on and you go, what the actual fuck is going on around me? And that's where people are now. The emissaries are saying that the energies are wild. People are seeing and they don't like what they're seeing. What are people seeing right at the moment? Well, the main thing I would say is that people are seeing this mismatch, this lack of concordance between what they've been told and what is happening. People are seeing the repeat of the Saddam situation, the repeat of the Gaddafi situation, the repeat of the Syria situation. Inasmuch as we are being told they've got weapons of mass destruction. Add to that they are unaliving their own people, which seems to be a bit of a narrative that we tend to hear. So we hear these stories. We're hearing the same stories that we heard each time. And we know how that turned out in Iraq, yeah? That when they went there, they discovered they didn't have them. And that quite literally millions of people lost their lives to that. And it cost God knows how much. And so it's like people are realizing that they're living in Groundhog Day. And I'll tell you something else as well. Do you remember in the pandemic days that they were using the 3 words, the power of 3? Say 3 words. Yes, we can. That was Obama's one. Yes, we can means fuck all. We don't know. It meant nothing because he couldn't. Whatever he thought he could, he couldn't. And he didn't. Except he did manage to unalive millions of people. But then we had the COVID things. Safe and effective. Safe and effective. That was the one. 3 little words repeated over and over and over and over again. And as we discovered, had nothing to do with the truth at all. Truth free it was, that saying. Safe and effective. And now I'm hearing, and there were tons of 3 words, one which are not coming to mind, but there are tons of these little 3. It's a power of 3. It's hypnotic. People love it. It sounds powerful. It sounds believable, but it has no depth whatsoever. And so now we're hearing this, and it's everywhere. Short-term pain, 3 words. For long-term gain. I have heard that repeated on so many channels, and by the president too. Short-term pain, power of 3. For long-term gain, power of 3. What does that say? put up with anything. Put up with the fuel prices going through the roof. Put up with the fear. Put up with everything. Put up with the people who were coming back without lives. Put up with that. Because in the long run, you are going to gain. It's for you. It's for the greater good. The greater good. And people are seeing through it. People, because the baddies only have one script. They only have one script. And they just keep using that script. Why have they never changed the script? Because they've never needed to. Because everybody was in hypnosis before. It didn't matter. Like, yeah, we're just going to roll out the same script. But you can imagine in a meeting. So what we're going to say? Well, I think what we should say is that they've got weapons of mass destruction. But didn't we say that before? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They'll swallow it down. They're all in fucking hypnosis. And now they're saying it and people are going, you said that before and that was a load of rubbish. And they're like, oh, goodness, what do we do now? Well, we'll just keep repeating it. Have we got any 3-word sentences that we can get out? Yeah, what about this? This would be great. This'll sell it. Yeah. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Oh, let's have that. We'll have that on all the networks. Let's have everybody talking about that. That'll get them. And now people are going, you can fuck off with that. And what the emissary said is that just right now, they are being particularly reckless, knowing they have a short period of time. They're like a roaring lion and they're being reckless because they're trying to get something done that needed a lot longer. It came too quickly, as the actress said to the bishop. It just was over before it should have been over. They've just rolled it out too quickly. And people are reeling from it at the moment. We're all reeling from it. And it just looks so fake. And these there's some incredible excuses about why it started. And, this war I'm talking about, and it's just nothing. There's no concordance because there's never needed to be concordance before. And now people need it because they're awake. They're out of the hypnosis and they're going, well, that does not link with that. That does not make sense. And that's a pile of bollocks. And so that's where the energies are at the moment. The scales have fallen away. People are saying, and they're not happy about it. Which brings me on to the Antichrist. That's not a good link. I haven't linked that well. People are not happy about what's happening, and that brings me on to the Antichrist. Okay, but it does. So I asked, because somebody asked, I asked the emissaries about the Antichrist, and I said, is the Antichrist going to be a specific person? And I asked them this a long time ago, and they gave me exactly the same answer, and they said, no, the Antichrist is not a specific person. They said that the Antichrist is a way of being. And they said, instead of saying Antichrist, perhaps it would be better to say anti-God. So the Antichrist movement is the anti-God movement. When we talk about Christ, certainly when I talk about Christ, because I don't know whether that was a real story or not. I don't know if that really existed. But what I'm aware of is that we've got what we would call the Christ consciousness, the Christed light. And that's divine light. And so those who are anti-Christ, anti-God, and there are many, they make up what you would call the Antichrist. And it's just a movement of trying to get people to turn away from God. It's been the intention of this entire timeline to turn people away from God. That's it. And so I said, okay then. So Antichrist isn't a person, it's just an energy, it's an intention. What about Jesus coming back on a cloud? Because some people are waiting for Jesus to come back, like properly. And they said, no. They said that's a metaphor. They said it's a metaphor to describe the return of people to Christ. It's almost like Christ isn't returning, people are returning to Christ. And when I say that, I'm talking about the Christ energy. They said, and if you want it in broader terms, it's the return to God. Hey, I saw some information saying that the sale of Bibles has shot up in the UK. Loads of people are returning to church, and really it's not a return to church. it's a return to God. People are feeling the calling to return back to God, which is beautiful. And so this return, Jesus returning to us, it's to our hearts. It's us stepping back into our divinity and understanding that we are part of God. That's what this return is about. We're seeing it now. It's happening. Jesus is returning. But they did then say, with a little smirk, they said, but we tell you, if you see Jesus coming down on a cloud for real, be very concerned about that. Be suspicious and be wary. And so they said, the idea is the return of Jesus is you accepting God, Jesus, the energy into your heart once more. That's what it's all about, they said. Not the hokey cokey. I thought the hokey cokey was what it was all about. No, what it's all about is accepting Jesus and God, whatever that means to you, into your heart. You know, it's different strokes for different folks. I don't know what that means. I know what it means for me, but it's very personal. It's like, you know, I accept God. That was a big struggle for me. That was something that took me yonks to accept. And it was really thanks to the emissaries that I was able to do that. But that's my personal journey. What's your personal journey? Have you got Jesus as a little sunbeam inside of you? You know, have you accepted Jesus as God or whatever? Where are you on your journey? Or do you think that's all rubbish? Or do you think that really the Antichrist is going to come? And do you believe that Jesus is really going to come down on the cloud? I'd be interested to know. I don't know. I'm just telling you what the emissaries say. I have no idea. I'd be interested to know what you think. I love you all and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.